Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the 7th edition Call of Cthulhu tabletop role-playing game rules by Chaos. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try very hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., that may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. My name is Michael Diamond, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Thank you for joining us again in another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I'm your keeper, Keeper Michael, and we return to the England chapter of Masks of Nyarlathotep with our investigating crew, who may have found or made a new friend last game. More on that in a little bit. For now, let's get through introductions. So, to my right,
it's Laura Lonnie. I'm playing Edward Oliver Forsyth, and I'm internally screaming, "Row, row, row your boat."
That's fair. I mean, that's a good scream for you at this point, at least internally. I wouldn't do it externally, given your proximity to tentacles and strange brown muddied pygmy heads.
Yep.
But again, I digress. To Lawrence's right.
This is Morgan. I play Lillian Lane, and I feel like I'm having an existential crisis from the activities of the last few weeks.
Wait, another one?
Another. It just continues.
Life is just one rolling existential crisis. And on that note, at the end of the table.
This is Jake. I'll be playing Jack Doyle.
To Mr. Doyle's right.
This is James. I'll be playing Dr. Sigmund Tartenbach. And, well, so far so good, I suppose.
It's amazing what you can do with a little time to yourself and a little less traipsing through the moors of England, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't need to get muddy.
Right. To the doctor's right.
This is Tiffany, and I play Maeve O'Shea, and I also didn't get muddy.
No, you got a wardrobe change and a bunch of cool new toys to play with.
I got upgraded. Level up.
And last but most certainly not least.
This is Alex. I'll be playing Simone Granger, and I was molested by a multi-headed, muck-coated, grabby, feely, gnarly, moist river monster from a nightmare.
Real. That was pretty intense. I mean, I enjoyed it anyway.
Me too.
But coming soon. Don't worry. We raise the curtain tonight on the moors of England. Along the coast there, on the Naze, as our 3 erstwhile investigators continue to row home. Lawrence, your arms and shoulders are red hot now from the constant moving back and forth. You've had a chance to change on and off a little bit with Jack, but Simone, unfortunately, with the wound, is not necessarily up to a ton of rowing.
Right, and I've had a really, really, really long day. I've done a lot of physical labor, and I whacked my head. And
yes. So you row.
I try not to lose too much of, my life energy in the boat and just, keep as much of it wrapped up in it as I can.
I don't know if you've ever had a chest wound, like an actual chest wound, but without like a proper first aid kit, it is a little difficult to bandage this up. You end up having to do some makeshift work with probably a jacket, the sleeve of a jacket or something, or
I imagine it's going to require active compression. I'm probably holding something very dense, very tightly.
You probably have a little bit of the blanket or the tarp or whatever it is, just
a sleeping bag. There you go.
To cradle against you as
it slowly turns red.
Well, it's not, yes, but also your skin is a little not just from the wound. Obviously, there's pain. But you feel around because it's impossible not to, the heat that comes off your collarbone where this thing attached to you at.
Great. So I've also got a hickey.
Well, you're actually more concerned medically if it's an infection.
I didn't want to think about being septic or anything, but thanks for that.
That's what I'm here for. So, what are the 3 of you doing besides rowing? And
other than that, I feel amazing.
Other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how was the play? So I'd like each of you to make a navigate roll to in the darkness here with your 2 torches, get back towards the Naze.
That's fair.
And I have no hope.
Right. So it isn't that you don't find your way back by any means. It's that it takes another 10 or 15 minutes to get where you're going. You get lost again a little bit, Lawrence. But having been lost in these moors now 3 times, you get a little bit. You go, okay, well, the coast is on my left, so if we just go south, we'll be fine. And that's what you do.
Yeah, I was going to say I was just going to follow somebody who looks like they know where they're going.
The tough part about that is that it seems that your 2 other compatriots are following you.
I know I am. I have nothing but faith in Lawrence.
You get back to the marina and the hotel. It is the dead of night now.
Look, if there's anybody around to bother me while I
get upstairs without too much trouble. And you probably, for a little bit of the way, have to help Simone. Not have to, but you help him up just to make sure that he's okay.
Is there activity up here? Are there lights on, or everybody's doors are closed?
There are no lights on other than the one at the end of the hallway by the bathroom. Everyone's doors are closed.
Perhaps one of you could rouse the doctor. I fall into my room and just I won't face first into the bed, but it's pretty close. And I will try to start unbundling all the stuff that's kind of keeping me together.
The worst part about this for you, Simone, beyond the falling over and trying to get to something that's halfway comfortable, is that when you pull your bag away from your chest, you can feel the fibrous material in your skin peel pieces of the top layer of that skin off.
That's gooey. You know what? I'll let the doctor take care of it. I can't think. I was thinking I'll try to get some water. Nope. I'm gonna lay down and stare at the ceiling and see how dizzy I am.
Very.
I'm gonna just try to focus on what's going on in me right now. Do I feel ill?
No.
I mean, I know I'm sore. We were definitely out there, but
you're not hot so much as you're exhausted, and the blood loss is not helping. And damn it, where's the doctor?
Yeah.
He's actually already half prepared. The moment he heard them come through the door of the hotel, or where we're staying, he pretty much assumed that one of them was going to be hurt. So he was already gathering his medical supplies and getting them ready. So already has his hand on the knob. Just show me what is going on.
Lawrence in the hallway has a head wound, and the door to Simone's room is open.
Mein Gott, who is hurt the worst? Rouse Lillian or Maeve, and I will tend to Simone. The doctor enters the room and surveys the damage.
His upper torso has been... It looks like he was bitten by a lion.
This is grievous. What happened here? The doctor begins to clean the wound, clean around the area of the wound, and apply his trade to Simone's chest. He gives Simone a large breath of the ether bag that he has made for making it easy to breathe ether, because that will help with Simone's pain, and it's fast.
Give again, there's a Betsy monster.
Breathe, yeah. Breathe deep. And then begin looking over the wound and sewing him up best as I can.
Okay, so are you going to use first aid or medicine?
I am going to use first aid first in order to stabilize and clean the wounds, triage, and then I'm going to shift over to medicine when it becomes clear that, simple first aid tactics are, have reached limit.
Okay, so yeah, you're within roughly or so about an hour of the wound happening, so you're able to use first aid.
So that's a 41 under 59 for first aid.
Simone can regain a hit point.
Yay. Am I stoned or unconscious?
Well, that depends on how much you breathe, sir. How out of it would you prefer to be?
I mean, I'm not looking to go under, like, into surgery.
Okay. Well, then I only give him a few breaths from it and continue my ply. Since he's awake, I try to be fairly ginger, so as I don't want to, cause him undue pain. Extreme success, 2 under 82 for medicine.
Wow. Oh, yeah, that's
I haven't
fantastic.
been drinking for almost 2 days.
You spend about an hour or so with him, carefully by hand stitching wounds closed, especially some of the larger bite. The teeth irregularity is it's intriguing, actually, Doctor. This doesn't conform to any sort of bite pattern you've ever seen. It doesn't look like a snake. It doesn't look like a lion. It looks like something that has just teeth everywhere.
I need you to do me a favor. I need you to take a picture of the wounds, please.
Whoosh. There's a big flash in the room, Simone. You're stoned at this point.
Would you like me to pose? I will kind of like let my chest out a bit, display the wound for him. Yes.
I make sure he gets a couple of good photographs, and then I tightly bandage the wound, making sure it's nice and clean, and give Simone just enough morphine and ether mixed to probably make him fall asleep now.
Are we done taking pictures?
You are done taking pictures. Now close your eyes for a moment.
I hug the doctor.
All right. Roll a D3, Doctor.
So that's 2.
Okay. So, Simone, heal an additional 2 hit points.
Awesome. While I'm hugging the doctor, I whisper in his ear, "Gave again as a pet sea monster." And then I just kind of like slump against his chest.
We can suspect things like this from Gaffigan. I'm not surprised. But the fact that it is there, and possibly other things, does slightly change our plans, does it not? As he stands up and wipes his hands. Well, you are the tacticians. I will leave it with you. But I have yet more work to do here on Simone. And Lawrence, come in here too. I wish to look at your head wound.
Did anyone wake Lillian or Maeve to tend to Lawrence? Or did Lawrence just go to bed and was like, fuck it, I have a head wound?
Fuck it, I got treatment.
Well, I figure, if I didn't, as I was busy, I figured somebody else was probably going to at least, wrap a towel around his head so that he didn't bleed out.
Actually, yeah, you didn't see him actively bleeding, Doctor. You did see something was wrapped around his head. And by the time you get to him, Mr. Forsythe's passed out, like in his bed.
I do a superficial cleaning of it. I'll look it over and make sure that it's not going to become grossly infected overnight while he's asleep, and do what I can without waking him.
Yeah, no, he's right now sleeping like the dead. You dab a few things and try to clean a few things up. He doesn't move a muscle. He's exhausted and dead to the world.
Convenient. Then I remove the thing that was wrapped around his head and bandage him while he's passed out. Won't even say asleep, while he is unconscious.
There you go. So the morning arrives for Miss Lane and Miss O'Shea. So yeah, I would say, Lillian, you're probably first up. And say, at a reasonable hour.
I'm assuming I did not hear them come in.
You did not.
Or else I probably would have checked everything out. Okay, I get up and get dressed and ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
So, how early is it in the morning?
How early? It's probably a little after 7.
I'm going to get dressed in something comfortable. And I'm going to go down to the beach and I'm going to go for a brisk walk.
Yeah. You can easily get that accomplished. You realize that you have to put on a jacket. It's still a little cold. While it's not freezing by any means, it is still in the 40s range here, given that it's February. You get your walk in, your calisthenics of the day. And Miss O'Shea, you're probably up next, although not as early as Lillian.
I'm going to get dressed and head over to Jack's room because he told me to take a look at the pictures in the morning.
He did. You step over into Jack's room. You find him asleep, but there's a line of photos that have been taken.
Oh, well, then I will be a creep and go look at his pictures while he's sleeping.
Yeah, you take a look at the pictures. Yeah, this is pretty gross picture-wise, Miss O'Shea. Although not entirely... One of the photos doesn't come out all the way. It didn't develop properly. But you do see what appears to be a large pharaonic statue. It's black, and there are many little candles around it. This appears to be some sort of altar, likely to the Black Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. You also see another picture with what looks like a probably 4 or so foot wooden post, and there are several chains attached to it and manacles, and there is a person, a male subject here who has been disemboweled, and you see several holes on their side and then their thighs where it seems that they've been beaten with something, and that has actually ripped the flesh away.
Like a spiked club.
Quite possibly.
That's my assumption. Okay. And that's like, there's like no writing, no,
there's nothing. There's no symbology other than the statue. There is some. It looks like there was some etching into this wooden pillar, but you can't make out what's been written on it. Okay. And then the third picture is, it looks like the development washed it a little bit, but it was more of an up close picture of this black pharaoh piece. And there is a definite, you get a feeling like a weight on your chest when you view it. There is some depth to the piece.
Okay. And it's just all black, right?
Yeah, it is a beautiful black.
Is it like a burial mask?
Seems to be.
Okay. And it's just sitting by itself on an altar. Well, the candles, right?
Yeah, candles surround it.
So those are the only pictures then?
Yep, just those 3.
Yeah, I'll just get some breakfast and...
Okay.
And I'm not going to go rummaging through his stuff. The only reason I was in his room is because he told me to look at the pictures.
Sure. You're eating breakfast and Lillian comes back in from outside.
Hey, Maeve.
How is it out there?
It's a little brisk out.
This whole country is brisk.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind a little sunshine and a little warmer weather. Is Maeve sitting at a table in the dining room, or where is...
Yeah, that's the only place to sit here.
Okay. Is there a pot of coffee on the table, or
maybe some tea? It looks like a teapot, maybe.
I drink tea.
That is perfectly fine. If there's not an extra cup on the table, I go and grab one from over behind the bar, and then I sit down at the table with Maeve and pour myself a cup of tea. What are you looking at?
Nothing. The pictures were in Jack's room. I don't have them with me, if that's what you're asking. True.
But you must be looking at something.
Oh, I probably am. Who are we kidding? Same book. Oh, I'm probably still looking at Swift's journal because I want to find the connection between that knife I have and Yig, but I don't have the knife out. That's secured away.
It's probably a good thing. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she's looking at a leather-bound journal. It looks handwritten.
I kind of give it just a brief once-over. I figure if Maeve wants to discuss what she's reading, she will discuss it. I don't think she's keeping anything. I just think that if she has something important to say, she will say it. Did the guys ever come back? I didn't check in this morning.
I know Jack's back only because he told me to look at some pictures. Don't look at the pictures.
Oh, is it the pictures from the basement?
Oh, right. You were there.
Yeah, I promise I won't look at the pictures. Yeah. Did you see anything that caught your eye, though? That I might not have noticed?
Not really. I mean, I can only tell so much from pictures, but he didn't grab that pharaoh mask, did he?
He did not.
It's a pharaoh figure, not a figurine or a mask.
Okay. I was thinking it was like a bust, like the burial mask. He didn't grab that figure, did he? On the altar?
I don't believe so. He was very interested in that cat statue.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know what was up with the cat statue, but apparently it was very important to him.
I don't know. Maybe he liked it.
I don't know. Did you talk to Jack at all, or
no?
Just look
He's
at the pictures?
Sleeping.
Okay. I kind of raised my eyebrow at her, and I'm sure they'll talk to us later.
Yeah, I don't know how late they came in. Jack just told me to look at the pictures in the morning.
Okay. Is there any breakfast around, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are a small circular plate that's here on the table that has some cheeses and some different pastries and whatnot.
I grab one of the pastries and kind of leave Maeve to read her book, and I just kind of watch out the window.
Simone, you wake in your bed, which after last night you don't even remember laying down in.
Doc has probably pulled up a chair and is asleep in the chair near Simone, like with a blanket draped over him.
I will probably, I'm not going to set up too fast, but I'll try to set up a bit. I'll try to get my head, I don't know, I don't want to be parallel. I'm going to try to scoot back a bit. Get a little vertical. How vertical can I get?
Probably about 45, 60 degrees or so.
That sounds good. That sounds about right. I see the doctor dozing over there.
Yeah, he is asleep for sure.
But how do I'm not going to ask if I feel okay, but...
No, you don't feel okay, but...
Can I breathe? And do I feel ill? Delusional?
No, you don't feel ill or delusional. You feel like you're having an out-of-body experience for just a moment. You don't really believe what you saw last night for a moment, and then
I'm not even thinking about it. I'm thinking about I'm just thinking about what it did to me. Focusing on the parts that I understand, like
the stitches,
bleeding. Yeah, okay.
Does his wrestling wake me?
It does.
I'll look over the doctor's handiwork. This has to look impressive, right?
Flawless.
Good morning, Simone.
Mm-hmm.
I am glad to see you are still this side of the soil.
That makes more than one of us, Doctor. I applaud your work. I hope I did not bleed too much onto your shoes.
Do not worry. They are quite used to people bleeding on them at this point. And I must say, it is some of my very best work. I haven't had a chance to practice stitches in quite a while, and I'm glad to see I still have the knack of it.
It pleases me to provide you with the opportunity.
Do try to rest.
I am not intending to go anywhere. I was hoping that maybe you could perhaps... I'll gesture over to the leather tote that's kind of sitting on the table. If you could pass me some of my things, I could probably get myself cleaned up a bit without disturbing my rest. You can clean up. You don't look very comfortable in that chair.
Doctor's prerogative to watch his patient. My comfort comes secondary to someone who may not live through the night.
It would appear that I have, and just like an apple and some coffee.
Yeah, so it would seem you have. And good. I owe Jack $5, but still. He kind of chuckles.
You bet against me, Doctor?
Well, no. The other way. I always bet with my handiwork, not against you. I will arrange for coffee and water. You need to drink a lot of water.
I do appreciate your expertise.
He smiles and just kind of nods his head. Your appreciation can be shown by getting better.
I'll give him a thumbs up and lean back. Basically, the only stuff that's in my bag is my mouthwash, a towel. It's basic stuff. My hand mirror, I feel gross. I'm going to shave. It sounds fun.
Doc spends the rest of the day puttering around, pretty much just tending to Lawrence and to Simone, and kind of hovering around Jack for a little while to make sure that he's not, injured but isn't saying anything, as Jack is wont to do.
Yeah, Jack doesn't appear to be injured. He just was tired from yesterday's events.
All right, well, that's what I'm doing today then.
Okay. Lawrence, there's enough walking around here on the second level to finally get you awake.
Yeah.
And although your muscles are sore,
Yep.
Wouldn't be the first time your muscles have been sore after a long day of work.
Yep. The first thing I will do when I get up is go check my guns, make sure they're all operable.
They seem to be. You're going to have to probably clean the shotgun.
Yeah, I'll start doing that right now. I'm taking it easy today. I'm just going to sit in my room and clean my guns.
So barring small talk, I guess what I'd like to get an idea of is what Jack is doing with the week of time that he has before the new moon.
Oh, okay. Right.
So why don't you give me an idea of what Jack is doing?
He'll probably spend some time every day or as much as he can just going out into the moor area away from town and firing off a few rounds at some targets just to try to get a feel for how accurate it is, how much it jumps when it's in auto and stuff like that.
Okay. You are able to locate, if you take the time, you are able to locate in Colchester nearby some 45 caliber ammunition.
Yeah.
And that kind of fuels your ability to train with the Thompson a little bit. One thing you do notice is that drum pack that the Thompson has, it creates an awful lot of noise when you move with it. And
okay,
so
yeah,
you're going to have to figure out some system of either opening up the drum and padding, putting padding in there so that way the bullets don't clink up and down in it, or keep it someplace like in a bag, because you're just imagining trying to go into Miser House with it, and it would be very difficult to figure out how you wouldn't get noticed.
Right. So I'll definitely put it in a bag, I think would be the best way. Because I don't know enough about how it works to keep it from gumming up if I try to pad it.
Well, you do have time during the week to field strip the Thompson apart and get to know some of the internal parts. You think that's something Jack would do?
Oh, yeah. He would definitely familiarize himself with the gun overall.
And I mean, on just the time that you have with it on its more automatic mode, you can see why it has garnered such a reputation already.
Oh, yeah. It's probably unlike anything I've ever fired before.
Yeah. I mean, it's far different from the rifle that you carried in World War I. It's definitely different from the rifle you had at home. And I mean, it's like nothing else you've used before.
Yeah. I guess it's probably a little intoxicating.
There definitely is a thrill of having an automatic weapon in your hands and thinking about all the times that this weapon could have been useful to you. Whether it's the Carlisle residence or whether it's some of the mix-ups that you've gotten into in the past, you can imagine what the tables would have looked like if you had a gun that is essentially made for trench warfare.
Oh, yeah. Definitely make this a regular part of my arsenal.
You're going to have to figure out a creative way likely to get it out of the country. You have to probably take it apart again.
Yeah. I mean, I snuck it in the country. I'm going to have to sneak it around everywhere I go, most likely. I'm going to use that false bottom in Maeve's trunk.
Well, that's a great idea. I'm sure she won't mind you packing a completely illicit, fully automatic weapon in the bottom of her trunk. But, I mean, she's got all sorts of crazy items in there anyway.
Yeah,
so
she's got a mask with a human tongue on it. She has no room to talk.
Well, from what we know, the mask with the human tongue is going back to the storage area that's being prepared. She's not going to carry that with her. But
I'm sure she'll find something equally gruesome to carry with her to the next leg of her trip.
It just means more space for the Thompson.
Right.
What is the group going to prepare over the next 7 days? What's their next few steps?
I'm pretty much going to see if that robe only has those pockets or if it has any other pockets. I mean, I know women in pockets, it's not a big thing, but
Actually, it has another pocket that's on the right side, which seems to be just about big enough to hold, say, a journal or something.
okay.
And it's tough to get over the feeling of the fabric, too.
Then I gotta decide what journal. Yeah, will Swift's journal fit in it?
It would, yep.
Just trying to think, like, so I don't have to take my whole satchel with me. Do I have anything that I could make, like, or have a belt for my knife?
No, but there are some shops in town you might be able to find some leatherworking in. I mean, it's still a relatively small town, but at the same time, you know, there's a lot of handmade items probably around here, just because it's not. Colchester's the largest town, and it's still a ways away, so everyone here probably makes a lot of their own clothes.
Is the hilt bigger than my ritual knife?
Yes.
Oh, so I have to take that one. Or measure it myself. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll go get a belt made for that.
Okay. All right, Simone, walk us through 7 days.
Well, so the first day that I'm shaving, I probably just spend a lot of time on my own. At some point after shaving, I will likely go the extra mile and like basically leave my eyebrows, because I feel like the way that thing made him feel is very unclean. Like he feels kind of like worse than disgusted. So he is going to be taking the time to like groom himself head to toe and then probably aggressively exfoliate. Like not to the point where he's like, you know, wounding himself, but there'll be no shortage of be really clean when he's done. And I think like in a lot of ways, he's going to, you know, try to scrape off all that fear and all that all the uncertainty, all the crazy, and try to focus on the fact that one way or another, these people are going to have to decide what their priorities are and whether it's going to be Gavigan here or Gavigan in London or Gavigan at all. So that's probably a couple days where I'm a little bit in isolation. Obviously, like the doctor, I mean, I'm not going to like shoo people away, but I probably spend my time recovering. And
yeah, makes sense.
After that, I guess once I feel like I have my wits about me again and I've kind of shed that skin, I feel like I've molted enough, you know, I'll give myself a once over.
So, Miss Lane, give me a 7-day idea. How does Lillian spend her time there?
She spends quite a bit of time alone. She spends her days writing in her journal that she has. She is also taken to slipping out a door, trying to leave her comrades from noticing that she's gone. She goes back to the place where Jack was showing her how to defend herself and how to hand-to-hand combat. But this time she goes alone, probably on a daily basis, to not only continue practicing the moves that he taught her, but she also takes her hatchet with her to practice throwing. Just based on this, I'm sure the discussions that the group have had regarding Gavigan's pet. She feels like she needs something else to help protect herself.
Sure.
She's angry. She's just not sure what she's mad at, whether it's herself or the fact that the guys almost got themselves killed, or maybe both. But she needs somewhere to release that steam, and it's a good outlet.
Okay. I would assume at some point, probably within a day or two, maybe when you're coming back in from one of your forays out towards the shoreline, you would run into Maeve, probably in the hall, maybe lunchtime.
Go over. Hey, Maeve.
Hey, I have a question to ask.
Sure.
You know French, correct?
I do. My parents required me to take an additional language in school, saying it would make me a proper young lady.
Well, it could come in handy. Would you mind tutoring me? I've studied it as much as I can, but unless I'm actually going to practice speaking with somebody, I'm not going to become fluent. And I really want to read that book that you got from Gavigan's office.
Sure, I'd be happy to help. It's been a while, but it's like anything else. It should hopefully come right back to me. So just let me know when you'd like to sit and go over everything.
Yeah, if we can, maybe over dinner this week or something.
Sure, I'd be happy to help.
Thanks.
So the two of you probably spend several of the nights, either during dinner or after dinner, going over the linguistic differences between English and French, and then kind of getting some sort of basis of it. This is something that if the two of you were just doing in the dining area, it's somewhat noticeable. So I imagine that Simone would probably see it happen as well. Just because if people are going to begin speaking French, you're going to pick up on it at some point.
Sure. I mean, if it looks like tutoring.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'll idle. I'm depending on like when it's happening. I don't know that I would have a lot to contribute unless I feel like she needs help. If Lillian seems apt and it seems like it's something that she's, I don't know, engaging with, I'll leave her to it. But I mean, I'll lurk. So like, if I happen to catch something that I think is worth chiming in, I might pipe up. But yeah, I'm not trying to like loom. Again, I feel like right now, I wouldn't say he's like totally antisocial, but he's a bit guarded.
Yeah.
And again, he probably looks unusually clean, like hairless.
So, Miss O'Shea, why don't you give me an intelligence roll? We'll see what you can pick up from your time.
80 out of 90.
Okay. You manage over the say 5 of the 7 days to really do. Well, actually, you get a second roll on that, right? Because of linguistics.
Oh yeah, fast learner.
Yeah, fast learner.
Or something like that. Yeah, that's a 57 out of 90.
So same level of success. The 5 days that you spend with Miss Lane doing this are an amazing experience for you. I think really the two of you learn quite a bit about each other in this process. Lillian is really sharp, and maybe she's not sharp in the way you are about specific subjects, but she's someone who can definitely convey an idea. And on the other hand, Lillian, what you find out about Maeve is that she is a voracious learner, and she's almost at sometimes difficult to keep up with. She picks things up really fast, and she's ready to take the second and third and fourth step sometimes before you're prepared to teach it. And so you realize that you have to kind of work things a little, not you have to go easy on her at all, but that you have to be careful not to get out of your own element.
When big brains collide.
Right. Well, yeah, kind of. So I suppose then that leaves us with Lawrence. You recover physically from your head wound after a couple of days of work with the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, what are you spending your time doing?
Well, I'm going to do two things. First, I'm going to rest because I've been knocked about pretty solidly the past couple of weeks, and I really need to take time to recuperate. But at the same time, I'm going to go out into town, and I'm going to basically try and find somebody who can teach me how to navigate the land better, because I didn't like getting lost like that. It got me hurt and it got me lost, and I don't like that at all.
Why don't you give me a luck roll? Lawrence.
Sure. That's a failure. 58 out of 49.
Okay. They tell you that if you're looking for someone who knows the moors and the Naze and whatnot, you need to get in touch with. There's a man. His name is Arthur Estrie, and he must be out on holiday right now, or perhaps he's in Colchester. But if you're interested in making a foray into the Naze and seeing some of the wildlife and whatnot around here, he's a man that keeps maps about it, and, fairly detailed.
I'm not so much worried about the maps. It's just more that, I want to be able to learn how to move around when I'm outside better. I don't want to get lost without necessarily having a map in hand.
The man in town that you speak to said that there's a bookstore just across the way there. You might be able to find some field guides.
That sounds like a capital idea. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And a bit of money spent later, you have yourself a field guide. It's from looks like 1921, so a few years old, but still in good condition.
Fairly new.
Spend a little time reading about how to properly navigate about the landscape.
That's all I want to do.
After 7 days, you realize you've got about 2 or 3 days before the new moon arrives. And it's going to come time to set a plan in place about what the group will do when people begin showing up from London.
Consider it perhaps a survival response, but what if we went with a bit of a backstab? If we know when they are coming here, it means that they cannot be in London. There are still foundations that their organization is using to operate. Perhaps we could isolate them, strand them in their stronghold, I suppose, if we were to return to London and see about finding ways to dismantle or negate their efforts with this blue pyramid and this the Penyu. There will still be likely, I assume Monsieur Kionori will be attending to matters while the boss is summoning powers from other places. That would make sense, no?
I like the idea of zigging when they zag. I also like the idea of not having to run into that thing again.
Well, if you want to not deal with that thing, I can give you a good place to start. First of all, you got to do something about Gavigan because he's the one gathering all of them. And he probably has an immense amount of power. However, I also think the lady from the spice shop is also helping him. I think she was the priestess, and I think she has a lot of power. Based on some of the things that I've gotten, yeah. I'm hoping to use some of her power against her.
How do you do that?
I have her items.
Here is what I see. I see that we are perhaps allowing ourselves to be blinded by an opportunity to engage them on a place where they have every advantage.
I agree. Probably is a place of power for them. And you don't want to give them a chance to be able to summon something else if that's their ritual night.
I assume there's only one road in there.
Well, to be fair, when we located the wall, we did not... The front gate had never been revealed.
Well, and the thing is if I do protection circle, I'm pretty much gonna be out. That's all I'll have. I mean, I think some of the items that the lady from the spice shop had maybe gave her a little bit more power so she could do a little bit more, but I don't know how much. So I don't know if I can maybe then do two protection circles, but I know I can only work one at a time. So we could have them set up at like the door And I know I personally can give myself a little bit of protection against her spells, but the only way I know how to protect you guys is with the circle.
Do you suppose that thing prowls the grounds during the day?
That's really hard to say. I don't know much about it or where it comes from, or I mean, I know what I know about the Black Pharaoh, but it doesn't really specifically say like things have to be done, but obviously this ritual is being done under the new moon, but that thing was out before then, so I don't know.
It attacked within less than a few minutes of me setting foot on the other side of the wall.
Mm-hmm. You also can't rule out that there's only one. I mean, I don't know what kind of power we're working with here. I'm going just off of, what we've experienced so far.
What do we know about this spy shop now? Has anyone spoken to her? We know that we've had meetings with Gav again. Oh, Lillian's here, right?
She should be.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, I gesture in her direction. But has anyone had a chance to speak with this shop owner?
No.
We made small talk with her when we were trying to be unassuming in her shop. But did we ask her? Yeah, did we ask her what her cult name was? We did not.
No, but I mean, if we know that she is in allegiance with Gavigan, what is the nature of their relationship?
Well, as far as I can tell by the items that were brought back, is she's a head priestess.
Does that put her on level ground with him? Are they? Is she? Which one of them is superior? Which one of them is the? Is it shared power? What?
That I don't know, because I mean, unfortunately, we had to get rid of Crompton's ghost so that he didn't come back.
I cock my head. Come again?
Lillian was with us when we were in the doctor when we found out all that stuff about my dad.
I'm probably looking more confused now.
When we went to the Key Estate, when we went and talked to Walmsley and we went to the asylum.
It's the first time hearing about this, so that's okay. What does this man's ghost have to do with the...
Yeah, you were gone. That's right. So, Crompton originally started this cult in London. He was said to have died in 1853. But he kept showing up. So we found out that there was a ritual where he would take over somebody else's body and come back across and be alive again. Or he would make his own body, is more of what it looked like. But yeah, he originally brought that cult stuff back with the Black Pharaoh. Like, he burned down a school to get a mask. So we went and took care of that so that we didn't have to deal with Crompton. So when I did more digging and found out more information about my father, which was a part of this ritual, he wanted to use basically the same kind of portal to cross that Crompton was coming through. But so Gavigan seemed like he wanted to get a hold of the ritual, and he argued with my dad. So I know that Gavigan also was part of that because he's been a part of the Spiritualist Society for a while. I don't know what he knows or how long he's been studying this, or if he was just arguing with my father because he didn't want my father finding out about his cult. So I don't know.
So this Sir Crompton found a way to continue his life past death?
Yes, basically.
And do we know if Gavigan can do the same?
I don't know. I know that he argued with my father about the ritual. I don't know if he had a part of why my father disappeared. I don't know any of that.
Okay. What does that tell us about
Gavigan? Not much.
and this spice shop owner?
Spice shop owner has all the stuff that links to the cult.
And evidently they use the Blue Pyramid Club back in London as a base as well. That's where most of the members of the cult work.
And Crompton is linked to the Egyptian murders, too.
I mean, I'm just assuming that whatever road they go into this manor at, given the way things work around here and as remote as it is, it's probably a one lane. It's probably a one-lane dirt road.
I mean, I'm fantasizing about all sorts of horrible things to do to those cars. So I'm just kind of lost in my thoughts, drinking whatever coffee is there.
Look, sir, I'm used to labor negotiations. All we need is a bit of liquor and some bottles. Or alternatively, gasoline. Whichever one's handier.
With that, then, the investigators have about 3 days left to plan before the new moon. And I think I got a feeling things are going to get a little messy. So thanks for listening, and we will catch you next episode.